celebrating the home runs and dealing with the strikeouts.
Don't just celebrate the home runs, celebrate the strikeouts. The strikeouts should let you know that you're moving one step closer to that ultimate goal. If you're not taking the swings and the opportunities, you miss every shot you don't take. So if you're continuing to shoot the basketball, if you're continuing to strike out, that just means you're moving closer and closer and closer. But that's the problem, is most people, when they strike out, they quit. You should always have a plan for the next day. You should always have a plan for the week. If you're getting up every day and approaching the day just as it comes to you, you're going to fail every single day. And what I mean by planning your day is you need a morning routine and an evening routine and fill in the gaps in between. There's going to be problems. There's going to be negativity that's going to hit me every single day. But it's what I can get from the day and find the positives and keep pushing forward and keep creating. And that's what it's about. So plan and always find the positive.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Getting Live with Lyndall Keith, the Opportunity Podcast. I'm your host, Lyndall Keith, and on this show, we feature really cool, successful people, and we talk about obstacles and how to turn them into opportunities. Today's guest is Bradley Crenshaw. Bradley Crenshaw is a multi-business owner, serial entrepreneur, philanthropist, and aspiring author. He's also a John Maxwell certified leadership coach and trainer. I always love talking to this gentleman. He's got some great insights and nuggets to share on how to create opportunities and lead a more successful, positive life. So without any further ado, I want to welcome my guest, Bradley Crenshaw. Bradley Crenshaw in the building. What's up, man? How are you, buddy?
Dude? I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Life is grand, dude.
That's
just
awesome.
Celebrating the home runs and dealing with the strikeouts.
Some of the greatest hitters in baseball also led in strikeouts. So,
yeah, they did.
What people don't realize is Babe Ruth also led the league in strikeouts, but he was also one of the home run kings as well. So you gotta take the swings, baby.
You have to. And it's cool that we're starting off on this sports topic because through your entrepreneurial journey and everything you've been able to create for yourself and the success and the freedom and being able to travel the world and provide for your family no problem, which is I think pretty much a goal that most people have. They want to be able to not have to worry about bills and be able to experience life to the fullest. So since we're talking about sports, one story you told me that always really stuck out that kind of kick-started your journey was with a sporting goods store that you had the opportunity to purchase, but you were unable to purchase it yourself. So what you did in order to even make that happen to kickstart your journey has always been a cool story for me. So just share that story. I think that story is a great way to start this off.
So I'll share the story, but I approach everything in this way. I approach every single business and opportunity in a way of, you know what, I'm going to create a way to make money or to purchase something and not use the finances that I have to be able to do that. So, I mention this all the time around the office of the fact of I try to keep myself at a ground zero, like I have no money. And that's the way I want to approach every single position, because when you come to that conclusion or when you reach that point to where, you have arrived, so to speak, that's when you get complacent.
Right.
So I always try to wake up every day just like there's $0 in the bank account and I got to go hustle and I got to create a way to make that money. So that started when I was 22 years old. Being 22, I'm a big sports guy. So I used to go into the card shop in East Texas every day. And it was just kind of, I worked as a pest control technician and, I made about $2,000 a month at that time. And, I had to hustle for that. But I would go into the shop every day and, buy baseball cards, football cards, it's a sports memorabilia store. One day I was in there and Mike, the owner, said, Brad, I think I'm going to sell the store. And I was, first I was, devastated because I'm like, oh, this is the only store in town. This is kind of my little getaway. So anyway, I said, Mike, I said, what are what are you looking to get out of the store? And he said, I need $35,000. Well, $35,000 to me was an annual salary.
Yeah,
That
and you
was
had
what I
kids at
made.
that time. Yeah, you had
I
kids.
did. I had three at that
Three
time.
at that time. Well,
Three.
that's a hustle right there in itself.
Yeah. So, being, starting to get creative and having that creative mind, I started thinking, how can I make this an opportunity? And I told him, I said, look, man, I said, I don't have $35,000. If I did, I would buy the store right now. But what I do have is a collection of people that I kind of collaborate with that I may be able to move this merchandise for you. I said, if you let me have an opportunity to do the inventory of the store, I'll see what I can find. And so I spent 2 months doing inventory of this store. And I ended up, after the 2 months was over with, I found a buyer in Seattle, Washington through a connection over the internet. The guy flew down to Dallas. I drove to Dallas and met him with a few of the items. He paid me half of that money there. I then loaded everything up and personally drove it to Seattle, Washington. But when I come back, I paid Mike his $35,000, loaded the store up, drove up to Seattle, Washington, delivered it. He paid me the other half. I flew home. And on the flight home, I called a lady in Farmerville, Louisiana that I knew and asked her, I said, Miss Freddie, are you looking to sell your store still? And she said, absolutely. I said, what do you want for it? She said, $40,000. I said, I'll be there tomorrow. Now, the part that I left out was what I sold the store for. So starting with nothing and zero, I sold that store for $149,000. I paid him $35,000. I then bought another store for $40,000. And I had, after travel expenses, I had about $60,000 when I opened my store, and created all of that from absolutely nothing. So
you said 3 months, was it? Taking 2 months doing all the inventory of the store and getting clear on exactly what it was that you had to work with. And from that value base determined, hey, I can do this for this and then flip it for this. And it turned in, and that was really the big jump start for you, right?
It was. That was kind of what put me in self-employment.
Yeah.
Did
the baseball thing happen right after that?
The what?
The baseballs. You told me about a whole bunch of baseballs that you had.
Oh yeah, that was during the store. I always try to create opportunity. There was an all-star game that was in Houston, Texas. I had about 5 or 6 kids, college kids that worked for me. And I had a connection through a sporting goods store in Tyler, and they would sell me a dozen of the Major League Baseballs in the cases for $5 a ball, so $60 a case. Mm-hmm. And I loaded a trailer full of those and took the guys down to Houston, and they sold those balls out of backpacks at $20 a pop all day long. So,
and you had thousands of those balls in the trailer, didn't you?
I did.
And sold them all.
Sold them all. Every last one of them.
That's awesome. That reminds me of, there's this quote they're talking about, while you guys are arguing and debating if the glass is half full or half empty, I sold it.
That's right.
I sold the glass where you guys were having that debate.
Yeah.
That mentality, man, do you think that mentality can be taught, or do you think that's something that you're born with?
No, it can be taught. There's no way. That's something it's just bred in you. It's bred in the individuals. I think a certain level of things can be taught, but when it comes down to the hustle and the grind, every single day, creating opportunities, that's the way people are. That's the reason we have super smart engineers, and that are rocket scientists, and we have people that, work at Burger King that are total opposite ends of the spectrum, is because we have some super smart people that their minds just think differently. And mm-hmm. I think that's just The way it is, it's not, you can teach an individual so much. There's an old saying, you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. And,
Yeah.
that's kind of the same way when it comes to, business and being able to create, different opportunities. So no,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know.
You can present that philosophy all day long, just trying to help people understand how to think differently and how that could benefit their life. And some people get it, and some people just can't grasp it. And I think Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about that. Not everyone's a one. You gotta know if you're a one or a two, or you gotta have
Mhm.
eights. You gotta have number 12s. You have to have number 20s in order for an economy and a society to run. And
Absolutely.
self-realizations, everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's one reason my wife and I, we balance each other out, is we're on total opposite ends
Mm-hmm.
of things. And that's the way the world works. You've got to have, you don't see one player on a baseball team. There's
Mm-hmm.
nine. There's nine starters. You don't have one football player. You've got 11. Uh, so it's all, you've got to have a team.
Yeah.
Um, it takes the whole group effort to make this world go round. So we wouldn't want a bunch of Gary Vaynerchuks running around all over the place. We don't want a bunch of that. We don't want a bunch of Grant
Just one.
Cardones running. Yeah, we don't want a bunch of
Just
Grant
one's
Cardones.
enough.
Yeah,
Just
we
one
don't.
Gary Vaynerchuk's enough.
That's right. We don't want a bunch of Bradley Crenshaws. My gosh, that would be a world of trouble.
Or Lyndall Keiths. I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah,
Gemini's, baby. Woo-hoo. Little out there. A little out there for
absolutely.
sure. So you have God, how many businesses do you have?
I now have, I believe I've got five. I think
Five
it's five.
businesses.
I think it's five is what I've got now.
So you got Crenshaw Holdings, Crenshaw Capital,
Th-
real
those
real
those
estate
those
stuff.
are those are my housing, LLCs, corporations that house the different companies that I have. Although my CPA has started to advise me that we need to branch some of those off. So I think
Mhm.
we're going to create some different entities for some of those. But the goal for me is seven.
Goal for you is
Uh,
7. I know
Seven.
your power of 7
That's
philosophy.
right.
Yeah, what power of 7? Share that. I think that's very important.
So I'm writing a book based off the power of seven, which basically, it brings everything into perspective of, how seven really makes the world go round, whether that's biblically and both, even in the business levels and your mindsets and different things along those lines. So I don't want to give too much information out on that because
Yeah, got to get the book.
I'm trying to release that book. Hopefully, maybe this year, if not, this next year. So, but it's basically a business book that's going to help you and give you guidance and guidelines to help grow your business if you follow those steps. Back to, I'm going to lead the horse to the water. It's your opportunity to drink it. So,
Right.
and that's what the
Right.
book will be about.
Cool. That's awesome, man. I can't wait for it. Are you going to do you have a writing partner on that, or are you just writing that solo?
I do. I've got a guy I'm using out of Florida. So
Awesome. Very cool. And so right after, I know sports has always been a big thing for you. And now you are doing some sports cards stuff, kind of back to the roots.
I had the business there for about 5 or 6 years before I ended up selling it to a company out of North Carolina. And,
Mm-hmm.
then I ventured off into a few other things, a few other companies that I had. I was a financial advisor there, did all avenues of insurance and advising and so on. So I did that for about 8 or 9 years or so. But here recently, I have decided to, get back in some of the investing. The sports card market has just exploded. It is nowhere near what it was when I done it before. It had a crash around the '08, same time the housing market did.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, definitely.
and now it has come back with a vengeance. Gary Vanderchuk has pushed a lot of the sports card market,
Mm-hmm.
and he does a lot of investing in the sports card. And so I decided to get back into it. I was doing some investing in the market, and to be quite honest, I like to put my hands on things. I like tangible items.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to thinking, you know what? I know sports if that's one thing that I do know is sports, and why not invest in some of the players that I know? And so I got in and just really dug back into it, and right here on my desk, I mean, they're everywhere. Sports cards.
And that's fun. There's a lot of nostalgia there, man.
Oh,
that was
man.
a huge part of my childhood too. I lived at the sports card store. That's all I did was sports cards and collect coins and all that. And I just, once I got away from sports, I just got away from doing that, But that's cool to hear that it's having such a comeback. And
it's incredible. So just to kind of give you brand new rookies this year, basketball, just for instance, has just exploded. So you've got a brand new rookie that's in the NBA right now. His name is Zion Williamson from New Orleans. He plays for the Pelicans. And one of his RPAs is what we call a rookie patch auto, just sold online for $100,000. $100,000 for a card this year. And there's already been a bounty put out for what they call the 101 logo man, and they're offering $500,000 for the card.
And not even signed, just the card?
It's autographed.
It's autographed?
It's autographed. There's a LeBron auction that's going on right now. LeBron James's rookie patch auto that's estimated to fetch the first $1 million new era sports card. So
wow,
it's the market's just exploding. I mean, just to kind of give you a little bit of example, I get about 15 to 20% returns on my money doing the sports card stuff. And we this last weekend, or actually 2 weekends ago, there was a sports show here in Allen, and I went over and there was 3 cards that I purchased in that show, and I paid $3,500 for one of the cards. I paid $2,350 for the other one and $2,400 for the other one. All the same card, but two were graded by what it was called a PSA 10, and one was a BGS 10. And just to kind of give you a little bit of heads up on that, 2 weeks ago, now the PSA 10s are selling for $3,000 a piece, and the BGS 10s are selling for almost $5,000.
Wow.
So just that little bit of time, I've made over $2,000 in 2 weeks on my purchases.
That's wild.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
For some cardboard.
Oh, look now.
That's wild.
It's not cardboard, baby. It's beautiful.
It is. It's glossy. It's slick cardboard.
It's beautiful.
That is awesome, man. What's the coolest piece of sports memorabilia you have?
Oh man, I don't know. Sitting in my house right now, I've got a really nice autographed Jordan wings where he's got his arms held out holding a basketball.
Really?
The autograph's about it's probably it's about 18 inches long or so. It's a pretty nice piece. I was going to see real quick when I had you on here, but that's probably the coolest memorabilia piece that's sitting in my house right now. I mean, I've had some pretty awesome stuff over the years, but
is it the old school vintage, like panorama style poster?
So I give you I got a picture of it.
And Jordan was.
So I don't know if you can.
Oh yeah.
That basketball is actually sticking out of the frame in a 3D.
Oh, that's cool.
And the frame and all is about I think it's 72 inches long. It's 6 feet long.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, the piece is 6 foot long. Basketball, big autograph on it. But I've got some Jordan rookies. I mean, I buy all kind of stuff. I have
some
I bought
rookies.
I bought me a safe just to keep all my stuff in.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Do you think one day you'll be one of the Honus Wagner owners?
There's only 20 of those known in existence.
I know.
So
what do they go for? Like 1.7 or
no, the last one sold for I want to say it was a little over $3 million. The Angels owner actually bought that one. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, well, moving on. You got a huge beard. Let's hear about this awesome beard oil that you create.
Do
That's
create.
yeah.
And that's right. My face is well hung,
It
so to
is.
speak.
You have a well hung face. You're a shower and a grower, is what you
I am
say.
a shower and a grower, baby.
Brad Ass Beards is the product line, and you actually you make the beard oil and the balm yourself.
I do. So, I used to go to the stores and I purchased, numerous, countless products of, all the big brand names from your Scotch importers, all the way down to, just some other ones that you could pick up, at your local CVS's or any other store. And, uh, so I've purchased the high end and the low end of everything, just trying to find the oil that was good for my beard, gave me good hydration, hydrated the skin, that also worked well as far as managing the beard. I was so disappointed. Most
Mhm.
of the oils that I would use, they wouldn't hold a good fragrance during the day. They wouldn't stay nice, keep the beard nice and hydrated. And then, so I said, you know what, I'm going to create the ultimate product. And so I sat down in my garage and I created Brad Ass Beards, and it all worked in basically about 2 weeks is about how long it took me to realize and to create the formula. And that's because I spent hours upon hours. I'd come in from working and I'd go to my lab, and I would
Mhm.
go to mixing stuff up until I found the perfect hydration combo of beard oils. And then I basically, after I got that, then I started working with scents and something that gave a good nice fresh fragrance during the day. And of course I'd put some in the hands and go let the wife smell them. Hey, do you like this one? Does that smell good? And she'd be like, yeah, it's a little bit too strong here and here. And I'd go back and mix some stuff up again. And then I created three to launch off with. And those are all on our website at bradasbeards.com. And we've got your Talk Dirty Timmy, which is one of my favorites,
Yeah.
which my wife gave that name.
Did she really?
Great.
That's awesome.
She did give that name. So then we've got the Calm Before the Storm, which has a little bit of lavender in it, kind of calming. And then we got Bittersweet, which is, kind of a citrus, cinnamon flavor. I kind of like that one. It smells good, holds a good flavor, smell during the day too. So, and then the balms. I work with the balms and created those. I have the honey vanilla and I've got a peppermint, and those are pretty awesome. So, I just created the shampoos and conditioners, and
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
those will be released here in the next couple of months. So it's as you can tell, it hydrates well, grows well.
Yeah, I see your beard quite often, and it is one hell of a beard, man. That is for sure. You really you surprised me with how fast you cranked that stuff out. When you said this is what I'm gonna do, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe a year for R&D, and all that. Like 2 months later, you're like, okay, it's rolling out. I'm like, what? You already created it and it's ready to go. You
That's
got a slick logo and a slick site and a great Instagram account that you've been pushing out there, and working with some people on some different branding things, and it looks
Yep.
really, really good, man.
Well, thanks, man.
It looks really, really good. And yeah, I can't grow a beard. I've tried to let it grow, and it just sad. It is so sad and prickly, and little splotches of Brillo pad in different areas of my face and neck. I don't know, whatever. It's not in the genes.
And my little brother, he can't grow a beard either.
Really? That's interesting.
He cannot grow a beard. He tells me all the time he wish he could grow one because he would grow it short like just like mine, but he can't grow one. It grows
Yeah,
in patches.
it's a beast of a beard, bro. Very,
Looks
very,
like looks like
very biblical.
looks like he's got the mange, is what I tell him when he starts to try to grow his beard.
That's funny, man. Anyways, whatever. We'll just move on. I'm jealous. Next, I want to hear about really quick. you got involved also at an early age in home improvement and insulation and helping people save more money on their energy bills through energy efficient services back in the day. And then that translated to having your own company now doing the same thing.
Yeah. So when I mentioned earlier that I sold the store and kind of ventured off into some other things, I started a company called Advanced Energy Solutions. And we covered all of Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. And when I started that company, I was the guy who answered the phone. I was the guy who went out and did the sales call. I was the guy who come back and brought 2 helpers with him and did the install. So I worked that thing from start all the way building it up until I had, installers to kind of run that. And I kept that for, I don't know, it was probably 5 years as well before I ended up branching off from that. And that's when I got in the financial advising field. And just here, probably, I guess it's been 3 years ago, one of the reasons I moved to Dallas-Fort Worth was to be in the real estate markets. So I have a real estate license. I like to do investing there. I like to, I don't really mess a whole lot with selling homes. I'll help people, if they need to, sell their house, if they're a friend, or I'll help somebody find a house, but I don't really market myself to do that. It's not that I won't do it, but, so I moved over here to do that, but I was going to actually do the selling of the homes and I was going to really market myself for it. Well, when I moved over, I ended up getting connected with another group in this field of, radiant barrier insulation, ventilation, that sort of stuff. And with my background, we kind of had a conversation and I took on their company and, kind of helped grow their business. And I took that business from a $2 million company to a $6 million company in the first year, just implementing the systems and things that I knew. And I come on to be a partner of that company. Is what I was, that's what we were supposed to be doing. That was the direction we were going to be moving. I kind of trusted, they had a Christian background.
Yeah, a good Texas handshake.
That's all it was. Absolutely. Yeah. They had a good, so I trusted on that. Well, when I took the company from 2 million to 6 million, I believe a little greed got involved. And with that, we kind of started having a falling out. Well, during that process, I had already had conversations with Russ, and Russ was actually going to come to work for me at this other company. And during this process, we decided we lost touch for a few months. And then I reached out to him and he was buying a foam trailer at the time. And, so we kind of, lost the touch and he went off and started doing the, a little bit there. Well, that was about the time we had the falling out. And I reached back out to him and said, hey man, here's the deal. It's going to be pretty easy. Either we're going to partner up or we're going to be competition. So there's your options. And that was kind of how our conversation went. And, me and Russ work well together. That's where we've taken on Green Addicts. Green Addicts, that happened in October of 2018. And so whenever I stepped in and kind of took over the operational, development of the whole strategies and putting plans in place for Green Addicts, of course, I didn't do the whole Texas handshake on the front side.
Yeah, right.
We went straight. I had my lawyers draw up the papers, and we got it legal right off the bat.
Absolutely, that's important.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, one of my old mentors used to say, "No docs, no deals."
That's right. That's
right. No
right.
docs, no deals.
And so our first year, we went from less than $1 million company to a multi-million-dollar company in the first year. So it's been awesome. The guys, everybody's awesome to work with. We got you up there handling our windows, crushing it out.
Oh wait, so me?
Yeah, well, yeah. There it is.
What's up? Yeah. We're having fun with it. And actually, I was talking to Dad today, and we are going to be putting out our feelers to bring in our Juan of the window department. We need a Juan for the window department, specifically dedicated to Green Addicts.
They're one in a million.
Yeah, we need our version. I know you can never duplicate Juan because that man is just. I love that guy so much.
Juan's my dude, man. I'm gonna tell you right now,
He's amazing.
He is my go-to. He is the guy I can count on for anything. I love that man.
Yeah,
He is a awesome family Christian man. I just I love me some
yeah,
Juan. So
yeah. He is one of the best people I have ever met
that's
in my
right.
entire life. So we need a version of that. Just to put that bug in your ear, we need a version of that for the window department, because it's getting a little bit piled up. We definitely need to bring in someone that I can train and teach them the system, and of course, we'll still handle all of the installers and all of that, so it won't be any different. We just need to bring in someone that's dedicated to Green Addict's window department. That's
Yeah.
where we're at with that. So it's been so cool getting to be a part of the growth of Green Addicts, and just the way that we were introduced through my kind of my old focus of video production, and getting to produce video for you guys out the gate, and then learning more about you and saying, well, hey dude, you need a window department, let me introduce you to my dad got you on that. And then lo and behold, I'm like, wait a minute, I like this, so I'm going to go ahead and do this full time with my life. I really, really love it.
Yeah.
And it was cool how the whole thing happened. And I'm really, really, really grateful that I had the foresight to kind of see, I was noticing a trend in the video production world, and with all these apps that are coming out, make your own marketing videos on all these apps, selling businesses video packages was becoming harder and harder. And then I was looking at my wife and looking at my kids, and I'm like, I got to do something that I know will be solid for
Yeah.
my family. And then I'm like, well, what greater thing, what cooler thing than to get to work with my dad and, you know, do something that's fun, that helps people, because we're helping homeowners save money. We're helping homeowners get their homes more comfortable, better air quality for their homes, for their family. And it's just a really good feeling to complete a project over the top good, like exceed people's expectations and see the looks on their face, not only when we're done, but when they start seeing their energy bills as well.
Absolutely.
It's very fulfilling. So I couldn't.
We pride ourselves on being the company who does quality work. And so that's the reason we only work with quality people. And that was one reason I love working with you guys, is you guys do quality. We just the other day we had an issue at the office, and you run directly to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was an issue on the window side, and that's the way we handle our business. We run to our problems, not away from them. And those are the types of people that I want to work with. And I believe those are the types of situations that allow you to grow a successful business. If you try to avoid the issues, you're never going to have a successful business, because there's issues every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, there is absolutely no way, especially in this business, especially with any type of construction or home improvement or whatever. Yeah, there's always stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said at the beginning, celebrating the home runs and dealing with the strikeouts. That saying popped in my head today, and I was like, oh wait, that's kind of cool. Celebrating the home runs and dealing with the strikeouts. Life is very much like sports in a lot of ways. And
Celebrate the strikeouts too.
yeah,
Don't just celebrate the home runs. Celebrate the strikeouts, because
celebrate absolutely.
the strikeouts are allowing you. The strikeouts should let you know that you're moving one step closer to that ultimate goal.
Yeah,
Because if you're not taking the swings and the opportunities, you miss every shot you don't take. So if you're continuing to shoot the basketball, if you're continuing to strike out, that just means you're moving closer and closer and closer. But that's the problem, is most people, when they strike out, they quit.
absolutely.
And
At the
that's why
first sign, yeah.
that's why I tell you that it's not something that can be taught to most individuals, because most individuals can't withstand, the heat. If things get tough, they crumble.
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel like I'm cool as the other side of the pillow. I'm just as confident under pressure as I am if I have no pressure on me whatsoever, which is not very often.
Yeah, I like it. I like having to deal with the stuff, man, and figuring out solutions and growing through things. Don't just go through things, but grow through things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll always be reaching for that next level. So if you had, what's a good little piece of advice that you'd have for someone that's that may be struggling with an obstacle right now, be it personal or professional? What's kind of a good, and I know you're a superman of faith, and prayer's always first. Absolutely, I get that for sure, 100%.
Yes.
On the outside of that, though, unfortunately, a lot of people operate from just what seems logical,
Mm-hmm.
and what maybe makes sense in their head. So what would you say would be a good way of dealing with something that is weighing on somebody?
Well, first and foremost, you should always have a plan for the next day. You should always have a plan for the week. If you're getting up every day and approaching the day just as it comes to you, you're going to fail every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You have to plan your day. And what I mean by plan your day is you need a morning routine and an evening routine and fill in the gaps in between.
Mm-hmm.
And you should know exactly what you're doing every single day. And I use the saying, this is what I say every day. Don't allow me to get through the day. It's what I can get from the day.
Yes, love
So
that.
I just roll with that every single day. I don't, there's going to be problems. There's going to be negativity that's going to hit me every single day, but it's what I can get from the day and find the positives and keep pushing forward and keep creating. And that's what it's about. So plan and always find the positive.
Plan and always find the positive. The two P's: plan, positive, and then we could add in passion and purpose and persistence. And there's so many good P words, dude. I love it. Fantastic. Well, hey, man. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time and being on the podcast with me and talking about some of these cool things and sharing some good nuggets of wisdom for my listeners. That's what I'm all about, is bringing valuable information to as many people as I can and sharing as many cool ideas and how to grow through life, not just go through life. That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
For sure. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you being here.
Yep.
And all you guys have a very good evening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and we will see you later. Peace. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into this week's episode of Getting Live with Lyndall Keith. Be sure and subscribe, share with all your friends. And if you have anybody that you think will be a good fit for the show, bring them on. Introduce me. I want to talk to as many cool people as possible and share as many cool ideas to create abundance, prosperity, peace, happiness, health, all that good stuff right here. We'll see you next time. You guys make it a good one. Blessings to you.